You really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market a long time these days. You're out your equity in as little as 30 days. But listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. That's Truehold's Sell and Stay program. Cash out your entire home's value and stay put. Truehold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. Imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt. And you can stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. Get your all-cash offer now. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Macy's One Day Sale is the one sale you can't miss because it's our best prices of the month, like jeweled women's sandals for $19.99 and under, 60% off premium bedding from Charter Club, and over half off Alfani 3-piece suits. Half off. Plus, it's Star Money Bonus Days, when Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster. Not a member yet? Join for free and earn $10 in Star Money for every 100 you spend. Today at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. Subject to credit approval.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob.
Join 96.5 The Fan for the Red Round Table with Mitch Holtis and Danon Hughes. Live from Hollywood Casino on Friday, August 29th, starting at 6 o'clock. Mitch and Danon will preview the upcoming season, audience Q&A, plus a meet and greet following the round table. Nothing will get you ready for football season like the Red Round Table with Mitch Holtis and Danon Hughes. Join us Friday, August 29th at Hollywood Casino starting at 6, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
That's right. Let's get it rolling. One Sunday closer to some real football. Your Kansas City Chiefs played Friday night at 9, and their first game, folks, just a couple weeks away. I mean, it was 21 days on Friday, so that means today's Sunday. So 19 days away till your Chiefs play a real football game over there in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Thank you for tuning in to 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football. This is Fantasy Football Sunday. Jacob Mustard behind the glass, my guy Mustard, and myself, Mac Morey, with you for the next hour, 10 a.m. Be a part of the show. 913-586-7965 is the J Southland Tow Service text line. 913-586-7965. Fantasy Football Sunday brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, and Scenic Views. So we had last week, we did receivers, right? I did some draft strategies with you. We went through the top 10 wide receivers. I gave you a few sleepers. And at the end, I answered some of your questions, just as I'll do today. So make sure you remember that text line. And I'll be saying it periodically throughout the show to answer some of your questions at the end. But today is running backs. We're going to get to running backs in the middle of the show. I'm going to spend 20 or 30 minutes just giving you what I think about the top guys, what I think about some of the sleepers. You're welcome to ask questions about running backs throughout the whole show. I'll be answering that. And, of course, we'll start with some fantasy football draft strategies because it's draft season, baby. I have a draft right after the show, actually. Usually I don't like to, and I recommend, if you can, to draft Labor Day weekend. It's right before the season starts. No one's playing any football. All the preseason's been played. So if there are any injuries that happened, which are so unfortunate, but so common in the preseason and just in football in general, you're going to have injuries. I remember a couple years ago, we did our draft early, just like we're doing it now, and I drafted, it was probably 4 years ago. It was when J.K. Dobbins was still like the guy, and I drafted J.K. Dobbins, and then boom, tears his. That was the beginning of the downfall for J.K. Dobbins as far as injuries are concerned. And so you want to wait as long as you can, right? But we couldn't. Life's busy. You got to get it done when you can get it done.
I got one for you.
Okay.
My buddy will appreciate this.
Yeah.
It was like right when we started doing fantasy, and he did one of these drafts early, and he took Andrew Luck as his quarterback the year he retired.
Yeah, like, and then your season's done. Like, it's over. Like, there's no coming back from that. That sucks. So avoid that.
I think he was a 4th-round pick or something like that, too. He was one of the high-value quarterbacks.
For sure. Yeah, like a steal. You feel great about it. I just got the future of the AFC, upcoming MVPs, the new Peyton Manning. Let's go. They're going to win a Super. Oh, wait, he's done. Oh, wait, Patrick Mahomes is the new future. That was to date myself to, show how young I am. That was my 21st birthday, the night that he retired. And so I was getting after it at school. I was getting after it with my friends. I think my dad, my brothers were there. It was a great night. And I remember when that happened, I was like, let's go. Because I knew, I was like, that was the biggest competitor to Patrick Mahomes. I knew that. And when he retired, that's a whole different conversation. But that set up a lot of what we've seen these past 7 or 8 seasons as far as this dynasty is concerned. In my opinion, I really do. I think that was just one other competitor gone away. And we'll probably forget that in history. So before we get to draft strategies, I want to run through this Rashee Rice stuff. Speaking of changes that can happen before the season, right? This all broke last week. Rashee Rice is going to play the first 5 games of the season. That's going to happen. The first 5, not the first 4 that you've been hearing. It's the first 5. That September 30th date's like a Tuesday. We play like a Sunday night game, I believe. So he will play the first 5 weeks of the season. What did I tell you last week? The first 4 weeks, one of the biggest philosophies, strategies, marquee bullet points that you should have on your whiteboard when you draft. The first 4 weeks of fantasy football are the most important, in my opinion. Everyone's the most healthy they're going to be throughout the season. Your team is as healthy, as full, is as deep as it's going to get the first month of the season. Because everyone's healthy. Now, Rashee Rice could be a beast. He could destroy that first month of the season and help you get out to that 3-1, 4-1 type of record that you aspire to have at the beginning of the season, because that feels so good. You've got a guy who's 2-3, clawing back, hitting the waiver wire at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday, just trying to find that running back, could maybe give him a slight edge, and you're sitting there at 4-1, and maybe you've got a younger guy that could help you at wide receiver once Rashee Rice is out. Now, the risk is we don't know how long the suspension will be. If there will be a suspension, like it could be a million things that could happen with this Rashee Rice situation. So he is a weird fantasy case. I don't really know how to tell you how to go about this. I would still draft Rashee Rice. I would still draft him. I don't know. I mean, in this mock draft, at the end of the show, I've got a mock draft that I did. Just a simple 10-man snake draft, half PPR. I believe Rashee Rice won in the 8th round. 8th round. Yeah. I would draft Rashee Rice in the 8th round, personally. 5 weeks of a number 1 wide receiver on what I believe to be a top 10 offense is worth that. A guy who's going to, as far as games played and the games that he'll play, he'll be top 10 in targets, probably top 10 in receptions. He'll be top 5 in yards after the catch if he looks anything like he did last season or the season before. He's an elite wide receiver. He's a great weapon. So I would draft him if he goes that low. Now, if he's going in the 5th round in your Chiefs draft, your Chiefs fans draft, then maybe not. Maybe you wait. But I think that brings me into my first draft strategy, my first draft tip. Hold on to rookie wide receivers. If you want Rashee Rice, you're going to get him in that 6th, 7th, 8th round, whatever it may be. Have a rookie wide receiver that you love and hold on to them. Too often, and even if you don't have Rashee Rice, this is just a draft tip, hold on to your rookie wide receivers. Too often we see guys get impatient, right? a Marvin Harrison Jr., let's say, and I know he never really popped off, but he had a better season than people give him credit for, almost 1,000 yards in his rookie year on a team that wasn't great offensively other than Trey McBride. I don't want to say they weren't great. They were okay. He never really popped off, but he was still consistent throughout the year, could help you as a flex option. Brian Thomas, for instance, started slow, right? Exploded in the second half of the season. Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, right? Both were fantasy helpers in the second half of their rookie seasons. But if you dropped them in week 5 or 6 to go get I don't know, name your guy who could maybe have a week, who's not a rookie, who you know, Rashad Bateman, to go get your, I don't know, I kind of like Rashid Shaheed, so a bad example, but go get that sort of guy when you're actually dropping someone who's a number 1 or number 2 wide receiver. You just need to give them time. This maturation, this refinement of the wide receiver position does take, and not just the Chiefs offense, but it does take 4, 6, 8 weeks. Now, unless you're a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, a Lad McConkey even, who started off so hot, right? There are anomalies to this. There are guys who are just a different echelon than other wide receivers. But for the most part, rookie wide receivers who you believe in are going to take 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. Hold on to them. Because if you do, and when they turn out and turn up, now all of a sudden you've got a rookie wide receiver who's, top 15 wide receiver in fantasy football for the last 6 weeks of the season. And you got him in round 9, round 10, round 12, whatever it is. And you held on to him. People are like, Emeka Egbuka. Another example. We'll talk about Emeka Egbuka. That's a guy who I don't know if he'll take 6 or 7 weeks. That just may be right off the bat. But you know what I'm saying, right? The rookie wide receiver. Name your guy. Trey Harris for the Chargers. Great example. That's a guy who I really like in fantasy. Weeks 10 through 15, right? When you get to your playoffs, this is a guy who could really help you. Maybe you're injured and all of a sudden he's come up, right? He's really figured himself out and figured out the Herbert offense. Keenan Allen not playing as much. Now he's playing for him. All these things, right? Hold on to your rookie wide receivers. Another good draft tip here as we go through it, talking running backs, talking draft strategies, and taking your texts as well throughout the show. 913-586-7965 here on Fantasy Football Sunday on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football. Draft for reliability in the beginning. Then you can find your ceiling in the end. That's the way I do it. Now, like we talked about it last week, Saquon Barkley, I'm out. I'm not doing that. I'm finding my ceiling guy somewhere else. I would rather have a ceiling guy in the top 2 rounds that I know has a good floor, too, like Bijan Robinson. The ceiling, he could be the number 1 player in fantasy football this year. But if he's not, which is more plausible than he is, right? That's just the way this works. He's still an amazing player. If Saquon doesn't work, there are more variables to me that show, okay, he's hurt, something bad happened, the Eagles aren't as good, the offensive lines got injured, right? There's so many things that could happen there. I'm staying away. We talked about that last week. Guys who've had that many carries, that many touches, all those things, the guys who succeeded the next year at the running back position, there's not any. There's only one. There's not many. There's only one. His name's Derrick Henry, right? And the 2 times that this happened to Derrick Henry, he did it once. The next year he did have his one serious injury that he sustained was after a year like Saquon just had with the amount of touches, the amount of carries, the amount of yards, the production, right? Draft for reliability. CeeDee Lamb. Amazing reliability. Incredible ceiling this year as well. With Dak Prescott being back healthy, he's got a guy in George Pickens. Mustard, a little bit of a shake of the head. I get it.
That's what I was worried about is the Pickens, how many targets he's going to take.
Totally, right? Yeah, Pickens will take away some targets. And if that's the case, you still have a reliable number 1 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb is still going to be 5, 6, 7 catches. He's going to be 80 yards. He's going to have a touchdown. Kenneth Walker. Then in the later rounds, find your edge. Find your sleeper. We talked about finding your variants. Find the guys. Everyone's using the same rankings, right? Or the same 3 or 4 ranking systems. Find the holes. Find the gaps in your ceilings. If you take CMC or a Saquon early on, you need to then find your reliability later on. I'm a reliability first, ceiling second guy. If you're ceiling first, that's fine. You just need to know you have your staples, your cemented blue chip guys later in the Mike Evans. Name your reliable, consistent, I know this guy's going to be here when I need him guy. You need to have those later in the rounds. And I like taking my swings later. That's just preference. Take who you love, right? We talked a little bit about this last week. Have fun. Take who you love. If you love Jonathan Taylor or someone and you have the second pick, and it may be technically too high, take him. Don't reach more than a round, right? If a guy's mocked to round 4 and it's round 2, wait, see if you can get him in round 3. If you love him, if you truthfully love this guy, if it's someone you scouted, you've thought about it, don't take someone you're not invested in. Like, if you don't love Michael Pittman and there's, name your wide, Zay Flowers right there, and you're like, man, Michael Pittman's rated a little bit higher, but you love the Ravens. You love Zay Flowers. And again, these are just names. I think these are actually pretty similar tiers, honestly. Then take the guy you love. Take the guy you're invested in. You don't want to be in on a guy that you just don't like. And then when it doesn't work out, when Pittman doesn't work out, you're like, damn it, I knew it. I didn't even like this guy.
I was going to say, you said something, a key word there, that they're tiers, not necessarily rankings.
Great.
Put your players in like a pyramid and then draft from each like section of the pyramid.
100%.
Use that kind of ranking and pick, like you said, who you want from that tier.
100%. 100%. Yes, Mustard's so right about this. Have your tiers laid out and then have guys in said tier highlighted, right? So if a guy in a tier is taken that you didn't like, but the guy in that tier above you that you highlighted, or a tier above that you highlighted still there, you're like, damn, dude, I'm getting a tier above this round already. Like, have your tier set up maybe differently than some of the rankings are. And that way you'll get who you love and get who you've scouted, and you'll like your team. If you make your tiers and highlight 50 guys, you'll get those guys. Like, you will. Like, truthfully, you will get the guys you want if you scout them out and you're smart and you do what you like. You won't get all of them, obviously, but if you have 50 and you're going to end up with 25, like, you'll have 25 of them, right? Like, you just will. We want to like this, right? We want this. This is supposed to be fun. So draft players you like. That's all. Draft players you like that you're going to have fun watching. It doesn't have to be a Chiefs guy. Could be. Could not be. Find that team with an edge, right? We'll talk about that more next week, but last week I think the Commanders were a big team with an edge fantasy-wise, like the Buccaneers, maybe a team that came out of nowhere. There are teams every year that are just going to explode, and you want to be a part of that. 2 years ago it was the Texans, right? You want to be a part of that. So we'll talk about that next week as well. On the vice versa of that, beware of certain coaches, right? Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan, these are fantasy killers. These are guys who are not going to help you. And that's fine. They shouldn't want to, but that's just the way this is, right? There are guys who are going to start their running back, right? We know Raheem Morris in Atlanta is going to play Bijan Robinson a lot. Even though they have Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson's going to be on the football field. That's not the same in Denver with R.J. Harvey or J.K. Dobbins, whoever they have in that running back field or that running back room. It's going to be a split carry. It's going to be by committee. There's going to be a rotation. You're not going to want to be a part of a lot of this. Kyle Shanahan, the same thing, right? Christian McCaffrey's an anomaly. But if you look at his wide receivers, he's subbing out wide receivers constantly. These are guys who aren't necessarily going to help you. So beware of that too. Beware of certain coaches who may or may not have fantasy on their mind. I assure you none of them do. But these specific guys really won't help you. And there are other guys that'll feed their best player, that'll give him the ball, right? This was Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. Derrick Henry's getting the rock. Derrick Henry's still high value. Is he what he was in Tennessee and at Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and a guy like John Harbaugh who's going to spread out, but not as much. Still is. Still probably a first-round pick, but things change, right? Coaches, philosophies, schemes, all that matters in fantasy football. All right, we're going to get to top 10 running backs after the break. I want you to be a part of it. Ask me any running back question you have. We're going to talk top 10s, and then we're going to discuss sleeper running backs. I've got some comatose sleepers. I've got some dad nap sleepers. I've got different levels of steals in the draft that I believe could help you win your league this year. And we're going to go through all of them. We're going to help you out, and then I've got a mock draft that I mentioned earlier. We'll discuss that at the end, and I will answer any and all of your questions throughout the show on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Fantasy Football Sunday. You're listening to it on 96.5 The Fan. It's your home for Chiefs football.
You're listening to Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price, exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
Chiefs Kingdom, are we ready to play? It's time for the Chiefs Kingdom scratch ticket, only from the Kansas Lottery. You could win up to $75,000 instantly, with even more ways to win exclusive, one-of-a-kind Kansas City Chiefs experiences through the Play On app. Play the Kansas Lottery Chiefs Kingdom scratch ticket today. See kslottery.com for details.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in Kansas City. And our more than 30 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Hi, I'm Trisha, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where we're all about you, your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Are you looking for a style that's classic, modern, vintage, or something in between? Not sure? At Shane Company, we're here to help. We have so much style under one roof because a friend knows you like options. Drop by or visit us at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Keeping it rolling here on a Sunday morning, 96.5 The Fan, Fantasy Football Sunday. Jacob Mustard, Mac Morey with you live until 10 a.m. as my headphones become unplugged. I love these headphone jacks. There we go. Now I can hear myself. Brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views. 913-586-7965 is the J Southland Tow Service text line number. Please be a part of the show. We're talking running backs today. I've got a mock draft at the end of the show. We'll go through and just kind of observe, kind of talk about the pros, the cons, all those sorts of things as your text questions come in. Let's talk the top 10 running backs. I mentioned Bijan Robinson. He's actually, it depends. It's him or Saquon. It varies, but he... On Fantasy Pros would tell you he's the overall number one pick as far as running backs go, and he's really going number one overall in drafts. I agree with this. I'm in on Bijan. I'm out on Saquon. We talked about it, right? Saquon, the usage is not there, or the usage was there too much last year to where this season it is not sustainable in my head to have this much capital, this much value allocated to Saquon Barkley, right? My second overall, my first overall pick. If you're in an auction league, $60 maybe, could be even more, $65 on a guy who, in my opinion, has struggled with injury. And even though last season was historic, elite, incredible, something that you really needed to make sure you were watching every Sunday, could as easily this year be a disappointment, a letdown, and a bad beat for your fantasy draft and your fantasy team. I'd rather stay away from that risk completely and go with a guy like Bijan Robinson, or going next in the draft at 5 overall. He's around the third or second running back. He's a third running back taken on most formats. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to explode this season. I'm in on Jahmyr Gibbs. Christian McCaffrey going 8th overall in drafts, around the 4th or 5th running back taken. I've done a roller coaster ride with Christian McCaffrey this offseason on where I'm at with him. I kind of like it. And I know you're like, dude, didn't you just say you didn't like Saquon Barkley? Yeah, Christian McCaffrey didn't have the usage. That was 2 years ago. This is the year after, right? This is him playing this whole offseason. There haven't been the weird reports like we were getting last year. I don't think people kind of forgot about that last year. Like, there were weird Christian McCaffrey things coming out, but we all just thought it was okay because the Niners said it was okay. And then Jordan Mason started that first game. And remember, Jordan Mason after the game was like, oh, yeah, man, they told me Friday I was going to be starting. And then everyone was like, whoa, you knew Friday? Wait, what? And the 49ers got fined. It was a whole deal. Jordan Mason was crying at the podium because he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And it was BS, right? The 49ers duped us all. They psyched us out. That's another reason Shanahan is not your fantasy friend, right? I don't think that's happening this year. So I'm more on Christian McCaffrey. Again, though, 8th overall. I like that. If you could get him in the second round, maybe. Would love that even more. Derrick Henry, yes. He should be a first-round pick. He's going 12th overall. This is a guy he's got an amazing offensive line. His usage actually went down last year. I believe it'll go down a little bit more this year again. Keaton Mitchell looks awesome over there, so they'll start to kind of give him some time off. Maybe instead of 85% of the snaps, it's 75 or 70, whatever it may be. He's going to have a crap ton of usage. This is an amazing offense with the deepest roster, in my opinion, in the AFC. They're going to score a lot of points, and Derrick Henry is going to be a part of that. Remember when I talked about reliability versus floor, ceiling, what you can expect week to week? Derrick Henry is that week-to-week guy. You know what you're getting. You put him in that running back 1 or running back 2 slot, and you just go, yes, and you feel safe. And that allows you to take a risk later on in the draft. Ashton Genty, another roller coaster ride with this guy. 11th overall, around 5th. He's kind of tied with Derrick Henry. They're going at the same spot. 11th, 12th overall, 5th running back-ish taken. Another roller coaster ride. I'm kind of out on this. Ashton Genty's incredible. If you watched any of the preseason last night, he was mini Marshawn Lynch. I say that because of the Pete Carroll comparison there. But, legitimately running over people, bulldozing guys, grown men out there. He's amazing. He's a great player. It's not about the skill, the talent level, any of that. If this is a dynasty league, he should be your first overall pick, in my opinion, if in a dynasty league, unless you need a quarterback. And you have a 2-quarterback league, which good for you. You should have a 2-quarterback league. 1-quarterback leagues are stupid, in my opinion. It's the most important position in football. It should matter in your fantasy league as well. Either way, Ashton Genty is going to be that first or second pick in dynasty leagues. He should be going high in a redraft league on a 1-year deal kind of thing. This offensive line for Vegas is going to be rough. It's going to be rough. They looked bad in the first 2 games, and you can only take so much from that, right? It's preseason. Not all the starters are out there for a whole lot of time. But we thought this before we even saw them on the field, right? You could look at this on paper. You could look at the talent on this portion of the roster and see pretty clearly, okay, this will be a weakness for them, right? They've got Bowers, Myers, Jacoby Myers, and Ashton Genty. That's kind of their big 3. They don't have any other passing weapons. There's other guys around this range that I'd rather go on. Devon Achane, not one of them. He's next. Josh Jacobs, I'm in on, another reliable guy, but the guy that I'm speaking about that I'd really maybe reach just a little bit here for, he's going 20th running back overall. He's going 20th overall in drafts. He's around the 9th running back taken. Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is going to go off this season. Can I tell you why? They don't have anyone else on that team. They have 2 terrible quarterbacks who are going to be dump-off kings, and their offensive line actually isn't that bad. It's middling to above middling, right? And Jonathan Taylor, a guy like him, can work with that. And it's weird. He kind of just went under the, at least in my opinion, in my world, this is anecdotally, kind of went under the radar last year. Hey, 303 rushing attempts, 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns. That's what Jonathan Taylor did on the ground last season. People just kind of forget about that. I think he's going to have a great year. Now, I do struggle with that. Well, he had a lot of usage last year. He's had 2 good usage years in a row, 230 attempts his rookie year to 330 attempts his second year, 1,800 yards. That was when he took over the league. He was the best running back in the league that year. He came back to form. There were 2 years in a row in 22 and 2023 where it was 11 and 10 games played. Only 7 games started in 2023, and he was still able to amass around 800 yards and 7 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns the other year. Like, he was a great, great player still when he was on the field. If Jonathan Taylor stays healthy, he's a dynamite pick. He's a potential league winner. He's a potential league winner. Like, that's what Jonathan Taylor is this season, and you can get him in the second round. You can get him in the beginning of the third round. You could get him for $40 while other guys are reaching on Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon or Bijan and they're spending $60. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the gap. That's the gap. That's the value gap right there in the rankings where you go, oh, Jonathan Taylor could have 1,400 or 1,500 yards this season. He definitely, if stays healthy, will have 12. He'll have 11 or 1,200. He'll have 10 touchdowns. That's the guy you'd get with your second pick or your third pick. Jonathan Taylor's a steal to me, not a sleeper by any means. You go down the line, and this is where we start to get into not sleeper range. Again, I've got different levels of sleepers, so don't come at me when I mention Kenneth Walker and Chase Brown as sleepers and go, really, Mac? Kenneth Walker and Chase Brown, they're going in the third and fourth rounds. These are other guys similar to Jonathan Taylor where I just think you can get a top 10 running back outside the top 10 of running backs taken. Kenneth Walker, running back 12 before injury last season, and among the 45 qualifying running backs, Walker ranked third in first downs per route run. He was sixth in targets per route run, and he was sixth in receiving yards per game. Kind of an underrated part of Kenneth Walker's game. We think about him as a ground and pound guy, a guy who can get it done with his legs. He's proficient in the passing game. And might I add, Geno Smith, moonball, deep ball king, has been now replaced with pocket passer, efficient, get the ball out of his hands quickly, Sam Darnold, right? Dump offs to running backs could be happening quite a bit in the Seahawks system. I like Kenneth Walker. Chase Brown, we need to not overthink this. I've heard way too much weird discourse on Chase Brown. Is he an amazing, great running back? No. Is he on what could be the best offense in the NFL? Yes. Is he the starting running back on that what could be the best offense in the NFL, and will he get 80% of the snaps? Yes. Similar to Kyron Williams, where it's like, how good are you actually? It doesn't super matter in this scenario because they are on a great offense and they're going to get the ball quite a bit. In weeks 9 through 17, you ready? He averaged almost 24 touches a game, over 116 yards, and he was the running back 4 in fantasy points per game. He played at least 79% of the snaps in every game. He played 80% of the snaps in every game for weeks 9 through 17. He ranked second in receiving yards per game, 6th in target share, 12.5%, and 10th in first downs per route run. He's the guy who can get it done in the passing game. The Bengals actually have a solid screen game, and he runs the ball really well, and he runs it hard, and they give him the rock. He's going to be on the field. They score points. They will be in the red zone. Text from the 816, Charbonnet taking over for Walker. Mustard, you got any intel on that?
He's getting a lot of hype in this preseason.
I know. I have heard that. Okay. So that's something to keep your eye on. I think Walker's the guy. 816, Walker gets hurt too much. Totally. We could talk about Kenneth Walker's games played. And
I think that's why you're seeing him fall a little bit, though. People are pricing in that injury risk with his ADP.
100%. They are. And that's semi-fair, but also if you get the guy on a healthy season and all of a sudden he went a round and a half too late, you're the guy saying, yep, told you. Also, let's talk about that. 11, 15, 11. Not great, right? You can make it work out of 11 games in your running back room. The running back is so deep. If you know you're getting 11 awesome games out of Kenneth Walker, it's pretty good. And I know last year also was a down year for him, just as far as when he was on the field, the health, all those sorts of things. Still had, 900 total yards with receiving and rushing. See how many touchdowns did he have? Yeah, I mean, he had 10 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. Yeah, and that was a down year for Kenneth Walker. I don't know. I'm still in on it. I get the Charbonnet scare, but with where Walker's going, with how good I think he is, I would take him. But I like the argument. This is a good discussion. Keep it coming. 913.
On a similar tier, who buying or selling James Cook value, especially since they got the contract done?
Yeah, James Cook. Let's talk about James Cook just real quick to see where he's going. He's going overall around 31, running back 14 This is a guy who led the league in rushing touchdowns last season. You got to talk about what's changed, right? That team, that offense, stay pretty much the same. It's harder, and luckily for us, we don't have to care about defense as much, right? But if a defense stays the same, like if the 11 guys are coming back on the defense, a lot of the time that doesn't mean that they're going to be as good, right? The variance with defense is so much more. They could be way worse. They could be way better. All these things. With offenses, easier to track, more statistics, more data, all these sorts of things, right? More touches. There's more objective things you're tracking, I guess it should say. Lots of data with defense as well, but more objective things to look at on offense to say, okay, I know this will stay true year over year. That offensive line's still top 5. Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the league. Sorry about it. The wide receivers, they're still not great, and that's going to leave them to having James Cook be the guy. There's a reason they paid him the most guaranteed money a running back's had. I think that was it the most guaranteed, or was it just the highest overall value? I can't remember.
I think it was the most guaranteed.
Was it? Yeah, I thought so. The most guaranteed money. There's a reason to that. I think this is similar. This tier is a lot of these guys, right? How good are you actually? Does it matter? I think James Cook actually has both. I think James Cook's a really good running back. Like, I think he's better than like a Kyron, like just forget fantasy. A better running back, a more skilled player. I think he's better than like a Chase Brown or a Kyron Williams. And he's got that offense and that offensive line. I think he's going to get the ball. I like James Cook where he's going. He's going below both Kyron Williams and Chase Brown. I like him a lot. So yeah, it's a great question. And again, great everyone being part of the discussion. 913-586-7965 is the J Southland Tow Service text line number to be a part of the show. We're talking running backs here on Fantasy Football Sunday on 96.5 The Fan, going through some of the top 10. Now we're getting into some of the sleepers here before we answer more of your questions and discuss the mock draft that I ran this morning. Alvin Kamara, unless he gets hurt, the production's going to be great. Like, he is the weapon on this offense. And if you're PPR, your value is going to be even higher because the amount of production he gets in the passing game is absolutely absurd, going around 15th running back overall. So he's still in this tier, right? In this tier 2-ish, right before tier 3 running back that I think could have a tier 1 type running back season, especially if you are in PPR. He's 1,200 all-purpose yards and 10 touchdowns just waiting to happen. He just is. Like, he's just... And this Saints team sucks. Like, they are ass. They are hot ass. I don't know if they're going to win more than 4 games, but Alvin Kamara is going to get the football quite a lot, man. It's going to be him. Chris Olave will have some fun moments. Maybe Rashid Shaheed, you could play as a flex play sometimes, but, like, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Ooh, this is a interesting text. 913 would like your opinion on Steele for the Chiefs. Hey, you're on topic. It's a running back. We're talking fantasy football. My opinion is, unless you're in a 15 or 16 team league, 30-man rosters, Carson Steele should not touch a draft, should not touch your roster, and should not hover over your mind as far as fantasy football is concerned. And frankly, sidebar, hope he doesn't make the 50. I don't think he should make the 53. I don't hope that for anyone. Hope the best for Carson Steele. Think he's a cool guy. Obviously, great story. Him and Sky Moore should not be on the 53-man roster for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a separate discussion. From the 816, Braylon Allen could be a later pick that could win your league breakout year. Love to break Braylon Allen take. Almost put him down here. I just think Breece Hall is really good too. That's part of it. Like, you're kind of hoping for an injury. I think Braylon Allen might be the best handcuff in the league, though, because I think he's great. But I think this is a Breece Hall year. Like, that's a good segue, I guess. Like, I'm not out on Breece Hall yet. Like, I know people have been scarred, and that's completely fair. It's been rough. I've had him on my Dynasty League. I paid a good amount of money for him on our Dynasty League when we started this 3 years ago, or whatever it was, 2-3 years ago. And it has not worked out. He's exactly in this tier. We are right in this tier 2 with Chase Brown, Kyron. All these guys are right in the line. He's 14th running back taken, 32nd overall. Jets are going to have a top 10 offensive line, in my opinion. I think Justin Fields is a top 5 running quarterback. Frankly, he's top 3. They're going to run the football a lot. This is a bad team beater. That's what I think about the New York Jets. This is a team that's going to beat up on bad teams, and I like Breece Hall for that reason. Braylon Allen, good handcuff. Jalen Warren, another sleeper here. Caleb Johnson has looked bad. I'm scared of the preseason drop that he had for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a short leash. He's not going to have guys out there that don't know how to pass protect, don't know how to catch dump-offs and checkdowns. He wants a guy who's reliable. He's going to throw a tantrum if that happens again. And I like Jaylen Warren as a reliable guy. Travion Henderson, I think we had a text about this earlier. He is and I see Mustard, the Patriots fan.
To the moon,
man. This is, and for the 816, way to go before I even mentioned it. Love Travion this year as a sleeper. What about Kamara? Can you count him as a number 2? So there we go. I didn't even see that part of it. Yes, you can count on Kamara. Ton of touches, but the Saints are horrible. Yeah, the Saints are horrible, but it's a ton of touches. That's what you have to care about, especially in half and full PPR. He's a great running back. He'll get the production. Travion Henderson, he's the steal of the draft, dynasty or otherwise. He's Jahmyr Gibbs-esque. The burst on this guy, Mustard? Are you just like over there? I know that I'm hard. Like, is that what you right now? Like, dude, it's unreal watching this guy.
Dude, he's insane. Like, his first play, his first touch, yes, preseason, but special teams is still going to be all your ones on special teams because that's an aspect that they need to get. He takes a 100-yard return, his very first touch in the NFL, and then he has explosive run after explosive run, and he brings the power. He's not afraid of contact. He's kind of, I mean, like you said, he's like a Gibbs. Gibbs isn't just going to run around you. He's going to run through you when he can. And, I'm excited about him. It's unfortunate that Ramondre's there because he's going to cut into the workload. They didn't pay him all that money to not use him, but it's still going to be a good 1A, 1B like we saw first-year Gibbs and in Detroit.
I think this is similar when I talked about hold on to your rookie wide receivers, remember? And it was like, hey, they'll explode. Similar to Travion Henderson when you mentioned Ramondre, yeah, they're going to split carries at the beginning of the season. And then it's going to just be too much for Mike Vrabel to handle. It's going to be too much in front of his eyes to ignore.
Well, and Vrabel didn't draft Ramondre.
Yep. Great point.
So they have no ties to him.
Great point. That's exactly right. You've got to think about loyalty in these guys and who's got stock in who's got stake in who, right? If a guy fails, does it matter for them? Are they their draft pick? All these sorts of things, right? Travion Henderson is Vrabel's guy. And by week 6 or week 7, he's the number 1 running back in New England. And if you like what they're doing in general as far as
their schedule is also easy.
Exactly. And if you like what they're doing as far as team building is concerned, if you like Drake May, all these sorts of things, I think Travion Henderson's a wonderful pick. Same with Amari and Hampton, similarly, but I am a little bit worried about the Najee Harris angle. Harbaugh loved Najee Harris at Michigan. He wanted him to go to Michigan. Obviously, he went to Alabama. But I could see that being an annoying situation to kind of deal with. Jordan Mason, another sleeper here. When healthy on the Niners last year, he was great. He averaged over 100 total yards a game in those 6 weeks. I don't think Ty Chandler has even made an ounce of motion. I hate to say it. Go Vols, all the things. Loved watch him in orange. Has not worked out these past couple of seasons. Looks like he's going to be surely that running back 3 in Minnesota. That means Jordan Mason's that running back 2. If Jacobs goes down, anything like that, another awesome handcuff option for you. And then a deep sleeper for you. Let me tell you about this guy, Mustard. Kyle Monangai. He's the future of the Bears running back room. I do not like Roschon Johnson at all. Roschon Johnson, get out of here, dude. No, don't talk to me about Roschon Johnson. DeAndre Swift, obviously that RB1, but Kyle Monangai, possibility to explode later in this year. Again, situational. Do you like the Bears? Do you like Caleb Williams? Are you in on what Ben Johnson's cooking up over there? All of these sorts of questions could help you get to the fact, okay, is Kyle Monangai someone I want to reach on? And then less of a sleeper, but still a guy that I think is undervalued right now is Chuba Hubbard. That tier 2 of the running backs that we were talking about, right? 45 overall, you can get him around 18th, 19th running back taken. But in that 4th round, he was running back 13 in fantasy points per game last season. He ranked 3rd in snap share, 4th in opportunity share, 12th in weighted opportunities, and he was 14th in red zone touches in the league among running backs. I expect a better offense, and that means more for Hubbard. He is the RB1 in this. He is the RB1. So you want that on an offense that's growing, getting better, and they just give him the ball. Again, they give him touches. So important in the running back room about less of your skill and more of, are you getting the ball a lot? And if that's the case, then you probably want them on your team. 816, what about Cam Scadaboo or Devin the Real Deal Neal? For fantasy purposes, Cam Scadaboo has more potential this year to me than Devin Neal. I believe Devin Neal the Saints, if I remember correctly, and I think he'll get some touches occasionally. I mean, Kendre Miller's been a complete disaster out of TCU over there these past couple of years. That is not happening. So Kendre Miller's done. Devin Neal might walk in to be the RB2. But Alvin Kamara's in front of him. He's going to be on the field a lot. So I don't think Devin Neal this season is really much of an answer. Cam Skattebo, he'll be on the field more for the Giants, right? Tyron Tracy's that guy, but Cam will have his chances.
Yeah, they're also the unfortunate part. Neal and Skattebo, I think you were about to just mention, they're both dealing with hamstrings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the perfect segue. They're both dealing with injuries. Late in your draft, maybe, but for me, honestly, at 1-6, I'm staying away from both these guys. Neither of them really excite me. And then a guy that does excite a lot of fantasy guys, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. This is a sleeper that ain't a sleeper anymore because everyone knows his name. He's gone viral on Twitter. He's going to be the Commanders' RB1, is what 816 says. Hey, you're not necessarily wrong. He's got two decent guys to beat out. But yeah, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a fun name to say. A guy who's got a lot of juice, a lot of explosion. Would be fun to take late in your draft, especially if you've got a dynasty-type deal going on, someone that you could take a flyer on late in your draft as well. So that's running backs. If you've got any other running back questions, we will be taking all of your questions, mock draft questions, running back questions, draft strategy questions, as we are in draft season. Please, 913-586-7965 to get in touch. That's the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Coming up, mock draft. I ran a basic mock draft for you. We're going to look at all of it, look at the ins, look at the outs, look at the pros, the cons, the woulds, the would nots, all of it right here on Fantasy Football Sunday. You're listening to your home for Chiefs football. It's 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine. You could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt. But you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. But listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. That's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. Cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. Imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt. And you can stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. Get your all-cash offer now. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
The summer selection is heating up at Reiselman Nissan, and 0% financing is back. Get 0% APR for 5 full years on new Muranos, Rogues, and Pathfinders. Or choose low long-term rates at 1.9% for 72 months or 3.49% for 84 months. Need power? Get up to $6,000 in total rebates on a new Frontier. And if you live in Missouri and lease your new vehicle, you pay 0 sales tax at Reiselman Nissan. Nobody in Kansas City beats our selection or our deals. Head to ReiselmanNissan.com for details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
Hi, I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection, 0.5 milligrams.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
Eat up, buddy. It's almost time for school.
You take charge of your home. You take charge of your work. Don't forget to take charge of your gut health too with Nature Made Probiotics. Nature Made has clinically studied probiotics that work with your digestive tract's natural bacteria, so you won't miss a beat in your daily routine. Find us in the vitamin aisle. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I love these mornings, man. They go by quick, but they're very, very fun. Fantasy Football Sundays on your home for Chiefs football. It's 96.5 The Fan here on a Sunday morning. We had last week. We are having this week, obviously. We've got next week for pre-draft. Then it's Labor Day, and then the season starts, and I'm here with you every Sunday giving you your waiver wire advice. We're going to talk waiver wire stuff. We're going to talk starter sit, max matchups will be the middle of the show. I'm going to give you all the advice each week, unless the Chiefs have a noon game, which I think is only 3 times this season. So unless the Chiefs have a noon game, I'm here with you from 9 to 10 a.m., and then Jay Binkley, Joshua Briscoe, all the awesome guys we have here, part of the crew, will be broadcasting to you throughout the Chiefs season. Really, really exciting stuff. Mustard and I, Jacob Mustard, behind the glass, myself, Mac Morey, with you for another 13 minutes or so. We're just discussing Rashee Rice, what to do with him, the anomaly that is Rashee Rice this year, the enigma that is this situation. And Mustard made a good point. Got to give around a week or so from after post Rashee Rice update news to kind of be like, okay, where is his actual ADP? Right now, he's going 55th overall. He's like the 25th or 26th wide receiver taken according to Fantasy Pros. So you can get him in the 5th round. Mustard was just doing a mock draft. Rashee went what? You said the 3rd round?
Yeah, pick 35 into the 3rd, that 3-4 turn.
Yep. And then one that I ran this morning, he went round 8, pick 4. So between round 3 and round 8, and then you've got Fantasy Pros saying round 5, it is all over the place with Rashee Rice. I would tend more towards that round 5 and later. Again, remember, your first 4 weeks of your fantasy football season are the most important. He will be playing in those first 5 games. From the 816, and again, 913-586-7965, these last 10 minutes or so are here to answer your questions, so please send them in. Have Nix, Gibbs, Taylor, Nakua, Worthy, Sutton, and Bowers. What rookie should I take at pick 2 in Dynasty? I have Nix. I have Gibbs. Damn, this is a good team. I have Jonathan. This is a great team. At pick 2, so you don't need a running back unless you want to go future at running back. You could do that, dude. You could just do that. You should. Yeah, do that. So Genty's going to go first. Take Travion Henderson at number 2 in your Dynasty. Take it. Do it. Because then you'll have Taylor, who's getting older, and then you'll have Gibbs and the new Gibbs as your future at the running back position. And in round 2, you can get a Matthew Golden or maybe a Mika Egbuka drops. Ted McMillan won't be there. Travis Hunter won't be there. So some wide receiver options in that round 2 to kind of bulk up your wide receiver room because you do need that. Worthy and Sutton are solid. They're not great, though, so we can get that great future there. But I like strengthening what's already strong in that running back room. That's what I would do, 816. That's a great question, though. Dynasty's fun. Dynasty is fun. So let's take a look at this mock draft as I continue to answer your questions that come in here on Fantasy Football Sunday, which is brought to you by Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, and Scenic Views. So I don't know, they randomly assigned me. I was pick number 2. So I was the 2nd overall pick in this draft, right? So Jamar Chase went overall number 1, and that left me with pick number 2. Saquon Barkley was on the board. Did I do that, Mustard? No, I didn't. He knows I didn't do that. I went Bijan Robinson. Pick number 3 was actually Jahmyr Gibbs. The only reason I didn't do Jahmyr Gibbs, who I love Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Who doesn't love watching him play? It's so fun to watch him play. Is because of the Montgomery stuff, because of the rotation, the usage. I think Robinson's just going to get that many more carries. Saquon Barkley went 4th overall, then Justin Jefferson. We talked about him last week. I would not pick Justin Jefferson this high. 816, do you feel mock drafts are beneficial? They definitely don't hurt. It depends on what type of league you're in, what sort of format you're using, what website, all these sorts of things. I found Fantasy Pros to be great. But like if you're like Yahoo, if you got a Yahoo, Yahoo's mock drafts are pretty good. Sleeper, like I'm a big Sleeper guy. I think that's the best fantasy format or fantasy website. Their mock drafts though suck. Like their mock draft system, their mock draft algorithm, whatever you want to say, it's not great. So it just kind of depends. But yeah, they definitely don't hurt. I think you should do a couple mock drafts because no matter what, you're going to just be met with some scenarios of 2 or 3 players on a pick, and you can then finally get a kind of a real world, okay, who do I actually want here? Who am I actually, when met with the decision, I've got 2 minutes, who am I actually going to take? And that's a good trial. And I was met with that decision in the 3rd round of this mock draft. A.J. Brown. I picked A.J. Brown in the 3rd round, but my quibble, my qualm with it was Ladd McConkey was right there too. And I know ADP-wise, there's actually a decent gap, but these are the gaps, right? These are the gaps that we're talking about. There's a gap with A.J. Brown and Ladd McConkey, but I think Ladd McConkey could be dynamite this season. Number one wide receiver with a team that I think's got a great quarterback. They're going to run more than they pass, probably, in relation to other teams, in comparison to other teams. They will run more than they pass. But he's a reception king. He had 1,100 yards his rookie season. A.J. Brown's a part of a run-first offense. I know he had 1,400 yards 2 years ago. I just don't know if that's happening again. It was a risk. I did go with the quote-unquote safer pick in A.J. Brown, but frankly, like, is Ladd McConkey safer? Like, I'm asking. Like, he's going to catch a... I caught myself there, Mustard. He's going to catch a crap ton of passes, man. He's going to be used a lot. He's going to be open in the middle of the field. He is their guy. They will pass more than I think the Eagles will pass. Bucky Irving went right after that. It's another great fantasy pick. Chase Brown in this round as well. Breece Hall at the end of the third round. And then in the fourth round, I was met with another sort of, okay, I've got Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson. Those are my first two picks. I got Jonathan Taylor in the second round, which, by the way, that is a takeaway from today's episode. Jonathan Taylor is a guy you should be reaching for. He's a guy that should be going in the first round, in my opinion. He's a league winner. He's a league winner. 913, how do you feel about Chuba Hubbard? I'm thinking about keeping him with my 9th round pick. Other keepers in mind are Cortland Sutton and Darnell Mooney. Yeah, for sure. No. Darnell Mooney, no. Love Mooney, fun flex, fun guy to watch too. If you just like actually watch Darnell Mooney, like he runs like he's got like elastic, like he's very elasticity. I don't know. He's just very flexible. He's just very loose the way he runs. Kind of flub that up, but you know what I'm saying. He's fun to watch run. Chuba Hubbard is a guy, younger, running back one on a growing offense. Cortland Sutton just turned 30. I think Chuba Hubbard's your guy if those are your options. Check your Twitter, Mac. I tagged you in a post. Well, man, I'm working 816, but I will. I appreciate you tagging me. I will look at that here later. So I got Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Brown in that third round. That left me in the fourth round. 2 running backs and a wide receiver. Now, right here, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, Kenneth Walker, James Cook, Omarion Hampton. These are all the guys I'm looking at. And then I'm like, Or I could get the third best tight end in the league and be done with that and not have to worry about it and not be scraping for crumbs in round 7 or round 8 on a tight end that I don't like and is going to suck and be waiver wiring a tight end by week 4 or week 5. So I got George Kittle. What do you think?
I was just going to say, I like the first 3 tight ends off the board. I think you can be high on Laporta or Hawkinson, but I think those 2 plus Kelsey and Andrews, where they're going is kind of that trap range where you kind of want to just stay away from them and take flyers like 3-4 rounds later with the rookie tight ends. So I agree, and I just did a mock in that mock draft we were doing. Kittle fell to me at the 4-5 turn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly where I got him. I got him 4-9. So, yeah, that 4-5 turn. If he's there, dude, you should get him. He's going to be 1,100 yards. He's going to be a crap ton of he's going to be a top 5 tight end in the league. And he's going to be a top 20 receiver in the league kind of thing. And you can just have him as your tight end, set it, forget it. I mean, he's right. But Mustard's right. It's McBride. It's Bowers. You know, you can have your conversations about that. We'll talk to quarterbacks and tight ends next week. But yeah, then it's Kittle, and then maybe you could reach on Laporta. I'm not a big Hawkinson guy, but that's what we're talking about here. Those are your 3 tight ends: Bowers, McBride, Kittle. And next week we will talk tight ends and the desolate wasteland that is tight ends in fantasy football. We'll talk quarterbacks, and hell, maybe I'll even give you advice on a kicker or defense. It'll be our last pre-draft show before the season starts, so make sure you're locked in. This will all be podcasted on the Odyssey app. Make sure you text in your questions all week as well. I'm there on Fesco and Dusty to answer them for you. Love being here with you guys. Thank you so much for listening to Fantasy Football Sundays. You listen to it right here on your home for Chiefs football. It's 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to Fantasy Football Sunday with Mac Morey, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football.
Macy's One Day Sale is the one sale you can't miss because it's our best prices of the month, like jeweled women's sandals for $19.99 and under, 60% off premium bedding from Charter Club, and over half off Alfani 3-piece suits. Half off. Plus, it's Star Money Bonus Days, when Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster. Not a member yet? Join for free and earn $10 in Star Money for every $100 you spend. Today at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. Subject to credit approval.
Hugs from patients, like Patrick. It's something QC Kinetics medical professionals experience every day.
I hugged them. You should hug somebody who does that for you. They gave me my life back, and I really didn't know where I was going to go because I was definitely afraid of having a knee replacement done.
No surgery, no downtime with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. They give patients relief from joint pain using their own healing properties to repair and restore damaged